Welcome to another segment of Our Ventura TV. I'm George ALGER, and today we're going to be talking about real estate in Ventura County. And our guest expert today is Larry Krogh, who is a broker and CEO of GP Realty. Welcome, Larry.
Thank you.
So, Larry, we're going to talk about real estate, but let's start by talking about you. How did you come into real estate in Ventura?
Good question. Backwards.
Yeah, okay.
Not your normal, it wasn't that I decided, I'm going to do a career in real estate originally. I was in investment banking prior to this, and even as young as 18, I guess high school really, I had an interest in real estate. There used to be something called Hume Publication, and they would put out, you could order it, and it was $14 a month. And I would buy it, and it would tell you all these different facts and information about real estate and what was going on in real estate all throughout the United States. And I started reading, and I found out how to do 100% financing before anybody knew what 100% financing was, and did my first flip when I was, barely out of my teens, that at a very young age. So
you started as an investor?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And, well, sort of.
Okay, you gave it a go at it.
Sweat equity. It worked out very well, actually, and that's probably what kept me interested in it. And then as the years went on, I would find something and work on a project or two or whatever, and that's what I would do kind of as a side thing. And somewhere along the line, somebody said, hey, we have this idea for a business, and said, why don't you come down to LA, and we're going to do a real estate franchise, and we need you to come down and run the pilot, and if it works, then we'll franchise it out. And I was like, I like real estate already. This isn't right up investment banking idea. I'll do it. So I went down to LA and started it in an area that I had no idea anything about. And we got it profitable in about 3 months. And I said, okay, you guys got to jump on board and run with it. And they said, we have a problem with this other company we're doing right now. And I said, okay, well, here's your pilot program. I'm going to do this. And it doesn't pay as well as investment banking, but it's rewarding, and it's something you can run a lot of control on, and you have a lot more successes than failure, where investment banking, if you have 1 or 2 in 10, that's good. You have good stats.
Yay.
So this is better. It's more up and I get to make my own hours, do my own thing. I don't have to be traveling out of the country or to cross country in order to do my business.
Good. All right, well, let's talk about real estate. So what can we, how do we open this thing up? Because, real estate, as you know, has been all over the place in recent years, and there's, the various viewpoints seem to be in conflict at times.
Well, right now, I think the real estate market's very strong. And obviously, everybody's hearing different things about the real estate market. So, depends on, I guess, who you're talking to. But I like to run my company very statistically driven. That probably comes from previous, things I've done. But, we're seeing, especially for Ventura and Ventura County specifically, where we have less homes to sell and less places to build homes, that the market is just getting stronger and stronger, and the amount of foreclosure properties are dropping. Numbers have dropped way down. So and that's the proof in the pudding right there.
Yeah, okay. So in fact, to set the stage in this, so here we are in the summer of 2013, mm-hmm. and we've come through what we've gone through in the last couple of years. Has Ventura been affected similarly to parts of the country, or in fact has done better than many other parts of the country?
Well, Ventura is a coastal community, bedroom community, you could say, to LA even, or Santa Barbara. So there's not as many larger companies here to support the area. So that's why when you look at real estate from San Diego to San Francisco, you're along the coastline, Ventura is really one of those last little secret beach properties, beach areas that is yet to come up. But we're seeing over the last 10 years, we've seen a lot of growth. I think we're going to continue to see growth in Ventura. So I don't know if that answers your question or not.
Well, I guess, being a resident and, I'm a big advocate of Ventura. To me, it seems like an awesome place to buy real estate for at any time, just as a place to live. But because I don't really follow real estate that closely, I was wondering if real estate in Ventura, or the pricing the last couple of years, did it go down as much as it did in the rest of the country, or because it is a coastal community, that actually held it up some?
I don't think we saw the drops at all like some areas. They called Stockton, ground zero, because it just was impacted. I mean, literally they would take a bus and go up city blocks with buyers and just let them out of the bus, and they could go walk from house to house to house of foreclosed property, because there would be 10 or 15 on the street. We never ran into that type of situation in Ventura. In Riverside, another impacted area, San Bernardino, Bakersfield. I mean, these are all areas where there was a lot of building that went on. Las Vegas, although that's not in California, but similar situation where they built so many houses that when things impacted, it impacted pretty heavy. In Ventura, our Ventura County in general, our heaviest impacted areas were probably Simi Valley and South Oxnard, places like that. Overall, any coastal areas, it was minimum.
Good. And then in terms of the recovery that you're seeing, in comparison to other parts of the country, are we recovering faster?
I would say no,
Okay.
because we didn't have as much of a drop-off. I would say the areas that were the heaviest with the impact are also the ones that have popped back a little bit. Now, long-term, do I see that continuing? No. You're going to see coastal communities are always going to be stronger. That's why a lot of people that were looking to, I had several investors who were purchasing coastal properties because even though they weren't going to live in them, just because they were more stable as far as a place to park their money, and they would purchase those properties versus purchasing something somewhere else, as a way to hedge their risk.
Okay. Now, as I mentioned, I'm not super savvy about the real estate market, but as I've read different things, just because they're in front of me, I have been presented with the idea that there's still a lot of inventory that's expected to come on the market from banks. Of course, we've been hearing that for years too. So, what's your take on that?
Well, I've been representing a hedge fund for an investment group, and for a while, probably since middle of 2008, when you started seeing a lot of properties come on, and I've done as many as 150 properties in a year for them, and just for that one group, and it's not. I would hear that every year from 2008 going forward, and it would be towards the end of every year, and they would say, gear up because the banks are about to unload a bunch of property, and that we would never see it. And I think the banks are smarter than that. I think they're not going to just dump, even if they did have that much inventory, which they may in some areas, but Ventura and Ventura County in general is not one of them. You would hear about some banks selling off bulk properties, where they would be looking for an investor to come in and pay $15-20 million to purchase areas. And every time we would hear about somebody, or somebody would contact us about that, I would get a hold of them and I'd be like, what do you have? Because we'll take everything in Ventura County and Santa Barbara County, and that you guys have. And they would be like, it would always end up being, sometimes they'd say, oh yeah, we have some. It would be like 2 or 3 properties. The rest of them would be Riverside, or somewhere else, And so I don't really believe that we have that. What we're seeing right now is and we're, again, back to stats, is that foreclosures, which you can pull up, it's public knowledge, and are the amount of foreclosures, properties that are being filed on, is actually going down, not up. So.
Good. Speak about interest rates.
Interest rates, if you're looking to do something right now, interest rates are actually really good. But as everybody, I'm sure, I shouldn't say everybody, but as anybody who's looking to purchase over the last 6 months have seen, we've already had about a 0.75 hike in the interest rate. So that's another indicator, that things are changing a little bit. Maybe not, and we may not continue to see that heavily of a hike in such a short period of time. I hope not, but interest rates are still good. House prices are still good. I would say right now is a pretty good time, especially for the person who's looking to buy a home for themselves. I really don't see that. The risk is pretty minimal. Market's already taken the hit. Interest rates are good. They're not looking like they're going to get any better. I think this is a good time if you're looking to buy a house. If you're looking to, if you're an investor, it remains to be seen. It depends on what you're buying and what your actual, target is of what you're trying to get done.
Good. So we see good prices, we got good interest rates, and we even have some recovery happening in the market. Now, is the qualifications to actually buy a house as stringent as they have been? Matter of fact, even let me pre-qualify that even. Was this, the qualifications to buy a house, has it been the most stringent as you've ever seen in your career?
Yeah.
Okay. No, so is that still the same, or is there any changes there?
I think I've heard about a few different programs. I've heard of some programs that have come out that are, back to stated supposedly, but they're really not. I mean, they're not really traditional stated income deals that we used to have. So I would say realistically at this point, you have to have some money. If you're buying a property as an investment property, back in the day, you could get away with buying an investment property with less than 20% down. Nowadays, it's 25, 30% down to purchase an investment property for the most part. And for the person purchasing a home, there are some good programs. FHA, 3.5% down. I mean, that's still a good loan. You are going to have to pay mortgage insurance, but that's part of the deal. But it allows you to get into a house.
Cool. Well, we're just about out of time here. I'd like to wrap up with 2 points. One, what would be a way that people could find out more information? And 2, just have a summating message about Ventura Real Estate.
If people want to find out more, they can go to our website, which is, GPproperty.com or GPproperty.net. Either one of those, they'll get them to the same place. If there is a summation, I guess, I think I'm a big fan of Ventura. I know you are. I think in the long haul, if I was an investment advisor, my advice would be, this is a good place to buy. If you're looking to buy a home, I don't think you can go wrong purchasing a home here, and I think the community is just going to continue to get better. I think the area is going to continue to improve. It's already a great place to live, but I think it's just going to continue with that. And I think for people who, and just on a factual note, we have a lot of the buyers that we get are from outside the area. They're from LA, from Newport Beach, from San Diego, up north, moving down. I mean, so that tells you something right there.
Wow. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, this is George ALGER signing off for this segment of Our Ventura TV. Until we meet again.